Imagine this. You blink, and the world just ends. Not with a bang, but with absolute silence and darkness. This isn't a power outage. This is civilization just got unplugged dark. There are no engine sounds, no sirens, no distant glow on the horizon. There's just you, standing in a field in the year 1024. Everything, and I mean everything, that keeps you safe is just gone. Your phone? It's a rock now. That little cut on your hand? That's suddenly a life or death situation. There's no do-over. The real question isn't if you'd miss your Wi-Fi, it's whether you'd even live long enough to remember what it was.
And that's the real challenge, isn't it? This isn't about becoming king or inventing the steam engine. When you're stripped of literally everything, the only goal is to see the sun rise 7 more times. So let's get into this. This is the ultimate time travel reality check.
First things first, we gotta understand the world you've just been dropped into. Forget the fantasy movies. This is a world built on 3 things: land, steel, and belief. Whether you're in Europe with its local lords, the incredible centers of learning in the Islamic world, or the huge empires in Asia, the entire structure of power is completely alien to us. This slide really breaks down that massive gap. Your identity is a bunch of data on a server. Theirs is your family name, your village, who you're sworn to. You trust in these huge global systems for food and safety. They trust the guy who owns the land and the hope for a good harvest. And knowledge? For you, it's open source. For them, it's a secret, a treasure to be guarded. And this quote just nails the immediate problem. Without a family, without a village to say, yeah, he's one of us, you're not a person, you're a problem. You've got no past they can check, which in 1024 makes you a potential outlaw, a spy, or something way worse. You're an anomaly, and people back then did not like anomalies. But the danger isn't just social, it's physical. It's about all the invisible stuff that keeps us alive and comfortable every single day. The stuff that just doesn't exist anymore. In that first hour, you're going to realize just how much is gone. The very first thing you'll notice is the light, or the complete lack of it. When that sun goes down, the world is swallowed by a darkness so deep and total, most of us have literally never experienced it. Night isn't just dark, it's like a physical wall, shrinking your entire world down to the little circle of light from a torch, if you can even find one. Feeling thirsty? You can't just go to the sink, and as this side says, every drink now comes with a very dangerous side quest. Any stream or well is a total gamble. One bad gulp could lead to dysentery, an illness that will absolutely wreck you in a matter of days. Just staying hydrated is a constant, life-threatening calculation. And it's not just what you put in your body. Your skin, used to our clean world, is now completely defenseless. A scratch from a thorny bush, a blister from walking, these are not minor problems anymore. Without antibiotics, without even soap and clean bandages, any little break in your skin is basically an open door for an infection that could take your arm or your life. I mean, this says it all, doesn't it? In our world, a minor problem is an inconvenience we close out. In their world, one tiny mistake, one moment of bad luck, can shut down your whole system. For good. The margin for error is basically 0. Okay, and let's say you avoid all that physical danger. You yourself are a walking, talking red flag. Your clothes, the synthetic fabrics, the bright colors, they feel and look impossible. Your accent, your perfect teeth, the way you make direct eye contact, it all screams that you do not belong. Even something simple like a zipper or a ballpoint pen isn't just weird, it could be seen as straight-up witchcraft. And that's your social reality. Nobody is going to think you're some hero from a prophecy. You're going to be a whisper. You're that weird person who showed up out of nowhere, wearing impossible things and talking funny. You're not a person. You're a rumor, a disruption, and a threat. All right, now we need to talk about the true villain of this whole scenario. It's not the suspicious farmer with a pitchfork or some knight looking for trouble. No, the deadliest enemy in 1024 is something you can't see, you can't fight, and you sure as heck can't run from. That's right, the single biggest threat to you is disease. Your 21st century immune system? It's like a spoiled kid who's about to be tossed into the most dangerous mosh pit in history. The germs, the bacteria, the viruses we've either wiped out or can easily treat, well, here they're alive and well, and they are everywhere. Just look at this list. It's horrifying. A simple cold can turn into deadly pneumonia in a flash. An infected tooth, which for us is just an annoying trip to the dentist, can actually lead to sepsis and kill you as the infection literally travels to your brain. This is a world where medicine is a mix of guesswork and prayer, and living or dying often just comes down to plain, dumb luck.
And that's the coldest truth of all. The past isn't some monster hunting you down, it's just an environment. And like any harsh wilderness, it is completely, totally indifferent to whether you live or die. It doesn't care about your future knowledge, your plans, or how badly you want to survive. Okay, so things seem pretty grim, but let's pivot from all the ways you could die to how you might actually live. If you can get through that initial shock, what's the plan? How do you make it 1 month? This is your step-by-step guide to not dying right away. This 5-step plan is your absolute lifeline. First, water. Find a way to boil it, no exceptions. Second, blend in. Ditch your modern clothes ASAP and get some rough local stuff. Third, and this is a big one, shut up. Be quiet, watch, and listen. Don't be the expert from the future. Fourth, find a tribe. A person alone is a target. A helpful apprentice or farmhand has a purpose. And finally, be useful, but in a way they can understand. And that brings us to the golden rule. Do not try to invent a radio or explain germ theory. You will get yourself killed, probably for being a witch. Instead, offer simple, practical skills. Teach people to wash their hands before helping with a birth. Show them how to clean a wound properly. Introduce a simple way to organize supplies. You're selling competence, not miracles. That's how you become valuable. That's how you build trust. So this leads to the big question, right? Let's say you do it. You survive. Can you actually make a difference? Can you use your knowledge to change the world? Or are you just going to end up as a weird little footnote in some dusty old book? To make any real impact, you've got to get these 4 things. And let me tell you, they are incredibly hard to come by. You need people to trust you, which could take years. You need resources, money, tools, land. You need protection from powerful people who see your new ideas as a threat to their power. And more than anything, you need time. A lot of time. Time to learn, build alliances, and make changes in a world that moves at the speed of an ox cart, not a fiber optic cable. And this is probably the most realistic outcome. You're not going to become a kingmaker or a science god overnight. The forces of history are like a giant, powerful river, and you're just one person. The best you can probably hope for is to survive, to adapt, and maybe, just maybe, carve out a small, quiet place for yourself in that current. You have to negotiate with the past just for the right to exist in. So, let's end with a question for you. 1,000 years in the past, no safety net, no reset button. If you could take one single item from our time, what would it be? A high-quality steel knife? A fire starter? Maybe a textbook on basic sanitation and engineering? And where would you try to make your stand? A monastery in Ireland? A trading city like Constantinople? What's your survival plan? I'd love to hear it.